Hi, I'm making the video as promised. So these are the mounts ready for shipment, and these are actually the prototypes. These are made from PLA, just a 10% durability of these, and it's still very durable. It's very light, these, but you can just break it. I can literally stomp on it and it will not break. I weigh 115 kilos, so you will not break even these, trust me. And this one is like, I don't know, 10 grams maybe. And these are, I think, 115 or something like that. It's much heavier, much stronger, different material. Okay, now I will be showing you of the installation. It should be very, very simple. Okay, so this is what you will receive. 4 of these washers, 4 nuts, 4 screws, another screw, and a corresponding washer, big screw, corresponding washer, and this expanding anchor. Of course, the mount itself. You will also receive not the electrical tape like this. It will be just a part of it already wrapped around this. You will see what it's needed for a little bit later. I will be mounting this one for me. I like the dual color. You recall the long nuts I have showed you? I will have them already inserted into the mount, so don't worry about this. Okay, so the anchor, you should receive it like this, wrapped in the electrical tape. I will put more electrical tape on it than you need. And the reason you need the tape is this. It should go in relatively hard and should put enough resistance for turning. You should be able to turn it, but just so. Okay, so now we have the mount with the long nuts inside. We can insert the big screw with the washer. The hole is pretty tight. You should just push it through. It's hard to do with one hand. You can also screw it in if needed. I just push it through hard. Now, like this. And this screw, the small one, goes here beside it. And if you check it at the bike, the big one goes here and the small one goes here into the hole. If you are having issues with the tolerance of this inside the neck, see, it's too easy to put in. Just tighten it a little bit, a little more, it's better. Maybe slightly. That's in. Just tighten it by hand until you can't more. Yeah. Okay. Now it's time for the small screw, M6 with the small washer. Simply by hand find the corresponding hole, tighten it by hand, nothing more just now. It already holds very well. Okay, now we will tighten the screws. Just on the big one, 5 Newton meters. And on the small one, also 5 Newton meters. Now the mount holds to not move. All we have to do is just install the fender itself. So, sorry for the dirty fender, but as you can see, it works. You have the fender, you need to use this mount, the red one. Okay, put it like this, and now we have the screws with the washers. And just by hand two of them already done. Three. And 4, just by hand, not tightened yet. Now we will just finish tightening the fender itself. I don't measure the torque, I just do it by hand first. Okay, let me check the angle. I'll just straighten the fender on the wheel, and now to tighten it. I put around 5-6 meters, no more. Now, when all is tightened up, the gap between the lip and the fender is around 3 millimeters, I would say. If you want it to have a lower or bigger, again, as I mentioned, you need to put the washers between the mount and the red part on the screws, of course. And one last thing, some people asked me about trimming the low fender, the OEM one. I haven't finished it yet, so it's a little bit rough. Still not cleaned up, but I've trimmed it here, cut it here, and the same on the other side. If you want, you can of course trim the rear too. And what you should do is trim the high fender in the rear, somewhere here. You don't need to do it. I haven't done it yet. I will do it later. But it's a good idea, because if the fork compresses fully, you may have a problem with hitting it the lines. So it's better to not have this top part. I've done some riding yesterday. As you can see, I was right about here. I had no issues, but I think if you went into the bump stop, you may have. It's still pretty pliable. You know, it moves. Even if it hit this part, it will just move to the wheel. So I don't think there will be a problem. But yeah. This is how it looks like before trimming the fenders completely, properly, but it looks good even now.